Welcome to Balanced Life with Debbie Carlin Boyle. Conversations connecting to a healthier you. The show that gives you all the latest and greatest health and wellness information to inspire you to live a life of balance and joy. Debbie Carlin Boyle is a health and nutrition coach, personal trainer, and fitness instructor who helps her clients live in balance with everything that feeds us, in addition to the food on our plate. Please welcome your host, Debbie Carlin Boyle.
Hello, hi everybody, and welcome today, Tuesday. It's July 14th. It is a sunny afternoon here in Southern California, and it's hot. And we have a great discussion today about hydration and what you do when it's hot. But let's get down to it a little bit. I want to welcome you to my show. This is Balanced Life with me, your host, Debbie Carlin Boyle. And I'm so happy to be back in the studio after almost 5 months of being out of the studio. It's a different look, as you can see, and I'm excited to be here and do my first show coming back. So I want to invite you to join this conversation today. As always, I like you to get involved with us when we're having a conversation, that you might have a question or you want to make a comment. So to do that, you can call us. And the number here is 323-524-2599. So give us a call, give us a shout. Make a comment. You can go to my Facebook page, which is Fit by Design, and then it will say Balanced Life. We're actually streaming the show live there, and you can make a comment or ask a question, one of which myself or my guests will get back to you after the show. I also want to say that here in California, we've had some restrictions put back on us in the last 24 hours. And people are on a roller coaster, and I'm a health coach, and I'm here to help you if you need help. So I want you to reach out to me, and to do that, you can go to debboyle@mac.com. That's debboyle@mac.com. I'm giving free coaching, health coaching sessions, individually or with groups, during this sort of challenging time where our emotions, our bodies physically, mentally, socially are on this roller coaster. I'm here to kind of balance it out. That's what I do, and that's what I love doing. So I implore you to reach out to me if you need to do so. So having said that, we're going to get down to the introductions of my wonderful guests today. So we're going to be talking about water, because water is essential for life. From the time that primal species ventured from the oceans to live on land, a major key survival has been prevention of dehydration. Without water, humans can survive only 4 days. Water comprises from 75% body weight in infants to 55% in elderly, and is essential for cellular homeostasis and life. The function of water in the body each day is crucial for many reasons. Water regulates body temperature, it keeps joints lubricated, it prevents infections, it delivers nutrients to cells, and keeps organs functioning properly. Being well hydrated also helps sleep quality, cognition, and mood. But when it comes to drinking water, not all water is alike. So today, I welcome my guests, Jordan Osborn and Kim Santy, to my show to discuss the number one catalyst for disease, dehydration. And there's a proven way to prevent it. Jordan Osborn has been on the quest to live a healthy life, first as a professional ballet dancer and then graduating with a degree in culinary arts. Jordan continued her pursuit of true health by studying Kangen muscle therapy, which led her to obtaining her massage therapy license, where she currently helps her clients reduce suffering and pain within their bodies. Connector, maven, and holistic wellness advocate, Kim Santy has dedicated her life to personal growth and cellular wellness. Kim is a self-professed biohacker, seeking out and utilizing the most advanced anti-aging foods, water, supplements, tools, and modalities available to human beings for healing. Kim studied holistic nutrition, same place I did, and organizational development coaching, earning her certifications in both. And Kim believes the human body is a self-healing machine, and if properly loved and cared for, we can not only undo years of damaging programming, but also slow and turn back the clock for greater peace, love, and quality of life as we age. Amen, I say. And to discuss the importance of hydration, will you please welcome my guests, Jordan Osborn and Kim Santy, to my show. Hi, girls.
Hi, Deb. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming. We had a little glitch, 3 weeks ago when we were supposed to do the show, and we thought we were coming into the studio, and then it turned out that we couldn't. And for the purposes of what we're talking about today and the demonstrations we want to do, we really wanted to be in the studio. So I ran a repeat on chocolate because that's just as important as water, if you ask me. So it was healthy chocolate. And so here we are to do the show today, and I'm so excited to have you. I have to say, Kim is a friend of mine. We met because we started talking about health, really. We lived near each other. We were dog enthusiasts. Our dogs met, and we met, and we realized that I was a current student at the time, but Kim was a graduate of IIN, which is the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And we just went off into the healthy atmosphere of talking about everything health every time we got together. A lot of sound baths. We did a lot of sound baths last year.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, no, this year. And and then Jordan, actually, I have a connection to Jordan too, because she grew up not far from where I raised my children, my two daughters, who were classically trained ballerinas. And as I mentioned in the intro, Jordan is also a classically trained ballerina who went on as a career in ballet. And she and my oldest daughter overlapped at the same ballet studio when they were growing up, just by coincidence. So I'm so happy to reconnect and have you here for this wonderful discussion that we're about to have. But before we do, I always think, and I mentioned this to you guys in sort of our pre-show, I always think people do what they do and get passionate about what they do based on where they've come from and what their journey has been. So I want to talk about the little sort of aha moments that got you into what you're doing now. And then we'll go all in, because we have some time here, to talk about the importance of hydration and how not all waters are alike. So Jordan, let's start with you. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess, I've always been very body aware, of course, being a dancer. And then when I got pregnant, I got pregnant, and
that makes you even more aware. Let's face it. Yeah,
So,
you stopped doing the bad things, and now it's not about you anymore.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So when I had my children, I discovered that I wasn't actually able to breastfeed. So I was always on this quest for the perfect water, and so with that, just always looking and trying to find the perfect water, I kind of came up with the concept of having a really great filtration system at my home. And even though I had this great filtration system, I still really couldn't stomach water. I couldn't drink it and feel like I was hydrated. I would just kind of try to gulp it down, and it just didn't sit well with me. I also just, always felt like I had a brick in my stomach. I just, I ate healthy, I, exercised, I did all the right things, but I always felt like there was a missing piece. There was something missing in that puzzle piece. So when I found that this, then I started researching more, and I found this really great water called electrolyzed reduced water. And that's kind of been my path of study as far as, and we're going to talk more about all of that. So.
Yeah. And you found that during your first pregnancy, or?
So unfortunately, no. After I had my children and they were kind of off formula and stuff like that, then I kind of fell into this, and this has kind of been my.
So would you say the catalyst or sort of the path to finding healthy water had to do with the fact that you had children now, that you wanted to start them out right, because you couldn't give them breast milk. You wanted their water source, the very first source of water, to be the healthiest it could possibly be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, not only that, but yeah, just and also just for myself, just knowing that, something just wasn't quite right with the way that I was feeling. And so when I started drinking this water, my body changed. I just felt different. So
it did. And we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of that, on how your body changed and all the science behind it, and all the endorsements and everything, because it's so big. Really, it is. And Kim, we're going to shift focus on you right now, my little health biohacker.
Yeah, that is me.
You really are.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about your journey and how you find your way on to the healthiest things.
Yeah, so unlike Jordan, I did not get married and have kids.
So it wasn't about pregnancy for you.
So I have this enormous amount of time to focus on myself. I don't know if that's healthy or not. But when I left San Francisco and I came back to LA, I just kind of went on this quest to detox all of the demons of partying my rear end off in San Francisco.
So go back. So you're from San Francisco.
Well, I'm from LA originally.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then did you go to school in San Francisco, or?
I ended up there from my parents moving us there. We moved around a lot.
Okay.
I was born in LA, but then we went to Chicago, Connecticut, and then back to California, but Northern California.
So were these your teenage and sort of college years that
Yes.
you were partying and not being very good to your body?
I mean, I recall having a 40th birthday party in San Francisco that was pretty epic.
Okay.
And for those of you who don't know, I'm 56.
Yeah.
So,
she looks amazing. That's
my whole quest and reason for wanting to put the best things in my body is because I want to have a good quality of life. And so when I came back to LA from San Francisco, I knew that I had to undo a lot of damage that I had done. Mm-hmm. So I was introduced, and I have a very long-standing relationship with this water because I was going to We Care pretty often and early on, and We Care they detox you on Konkin Water, on this particular water.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
What is We Care?
We Care is this amazing juice spa in Palm Desert that a lot of.
Oh, that's where you hide away sometimes.
Yes.
That you go.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic,
Yeah. I've been there numerous times. It's a pretty special place.
Yeah.
And very well known in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that's how you were introduced. And
Yes.
then did you realize that Jordan was already using the water, or
I did not.
No. So just by coincidence.
And she's really the reason why I decided to purchase a machine. I had refrained from wanting to buy one for a long time, but she's the reason why I bought one. So.
But you're a client of Jordan's, aren't you? So
Yeah.
So it's through talking to her and having your hand and muscle therapy. Yeah.
She works on me, and which is has gone hand in hand with a lot of my healing. The hydration and then the muscle therapy that she does, which is highly unique and unfortunately not well known in the world.
I was going to say, can you talk about that a little bit? What is it? And what does it do? And how can people benefit from those services from you?
Yes. So you're right. It's not that well known. And, I study under a man who's 84 years old. His name's Thomas Greiner. And he's an engineer, scientist, brainiac. And he basically he was working at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, had nothing to do with bodies. But, when he started researching bodies, he became hooked on this concept that... So what happens in our bodies is that we have too much tension. So think about your muscles. They looked the same yesterday. They look the same today. They'll probably look the same tomorrow. But you're not thinking about how they look. Your biceps, your triceps, your quadriceps. You're not thinking about how the shape of them. Your brain is telling them what size they are or what shape they are. So what happens is that your brain talks to your muscle, and your muscle talks back to your brain. And if there is a good connection going on, if the ping pong match is staying solid, then everything is fine, and the muscle can go along and be healthy and at a normal tension. But if something is interrupting that, if you have accidents, injuries, all of those types of things, then the muscle will start to become harder and harder and harder because the brain can't hear what's going on, and it decides to tell it to tighten down. Oh. So we have a vicious cycle when that happens. So basically, I work with the neurological feedback loop between the cerebellum and the muscle.
So can you depict which muscles that's happening to, or do people come to you because they have pain? Do you have to have pain? I guess my question is, do you have to be in pain in a certain area to know that this is that the connection is correct.
Yes, most people do come in with pain because that's your signals, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
Your body will get a signal and tell you that you're in pain, and that usually means that it's really, really bad.
Yeah, yeah. And by the time it gets there, you've over that
And
hump.
then a lot of times, what happens is that you'll feel it and then it will go away, and that's your body's natural painkillers covering it up. But usually people are coming to me when they've been in pain for so long, the natural painkillers are not covering it up anymore. So I just deal with people in a lot of pain.
Okay.
But then there can be other underlying issues as well that happen to your body. So,
yeah, like an autoimmune disease can cause pain. Arthritis, which is autoimmune disease, can cause a lot of pain in your joint and muscles. I'll talk to you about that because I'm starting to get, being in my 60s now, I'm starting to get that.
You have to go see her.
Arthritic. Yeah. I've been thinking about it actually.
Yeah. Well,
it's
arthritis is, just really tightness at the joints. So our muscles attach at our joints, and that's where they have the most stress or pressure on them. And so that's where we feel it. So that's the thing, is that we don't feel our bones. We don't feel all the other quote unquote things that the prescription of, like bursitis or torn stuff like that. We feel our muscles. So a lot of it's muscular pain that's misdiagnosed.
So arthritis, you can help arthritis in your joints?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, let's talk.
Yeah, and I don't want to derail the whole conversation.
But you're a client.
In
so,
all fairness to Jordan, like I didn't come to her with pain. I came to her in a preventative fashion, and so I can't stress to people enough. Don't wait until you're in pain. Take care of your body.
That's right.
You have one body.
That's the whole holistic approach. Is prevention.
Yeah.
Is you take the approach before, you don't wait and try to heal after. Even though holistically you want to heal, if there is an injury of some kind or a setback, but the idea is to be preventative. So that you're so smart about that, because I would say 98% of the population doesn't do it that way.
No.
They wait.
We've uncovered massive pain in my body. We're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Didn't know that was there.
We have to release and allow. So love it. Love what you do. Love it. All right, let's talk about hydration. And I think the first thing that we need to do is talk about why water is so important. I touched on it in the interview, but I think, we need to set a good picture of the importance of water. I mean, aside from the fact that that's what our bodies are made up of. Why is it so important? What would you say?
Well, I always kind of like to paint this picture of, if you think about doing a puzzle, and if you've done 72% of a puzzle, you'd feel very accomplished, right? That's a pretty big chunk of the puzzle. And that's actually what our bodies are with water. So if you think about our bodies as a puzzle, 72% of that is water. The other 28% is your bones, your organs, your tissue, all of those types of things. So if we're not taking care of that 72%, then we've got a problem. And most people are dehydrated and not taking care of that 72%.
Right.
So, as you touched upon, I mean, water is the foundation of health. It's a foundation of life. And it is the most important nutrient we can put in our bodies.
Right.
And water delivers nutrients to all of our cells, especially our muscle cells. So, of course, that's the stuff that I work on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, and I think that people don't understand how, I don't want to say devastating, but how vital it is to stay hydrated. And they don't, it's more than just waiting until, if you're thirsty, it's too late. We have this whole thing about, being a personal trainer and in the exercise field of, as athletes and has people that are working out and breaking a sweat, and then, we're drinking water in between. At that point, it's sort of too late. You kind of have to go into it hydrated and then stay hydrated, I think, throughout. And that's a really important fact that I deal with all my clients with and all my students when I was teaching. I'm on a hiatus right now, but I think it's so important. But people don't realize there's almost like a badge of honor to be thirsty. And it isn't good to be when you're working out, when you're doing, when you're running or when you're hiking or biking, and then that means I'm working really hard and my muscles is getting to my. It's actually the opposite.
That's
you're actually
interesting.
depleting. Yeah. There's a whole theory about that.
Yeah.
Being that and it isn't. And that's what we have to, that demystify, is that that's not the case. So, so let's get into it. Like what it does for, like, first and foremost,
Right.
it helps our cells. Let's talk about the whole cellular.
Yeah, I mean,
concept.
just that the concept of, so, and I mean, I always feel like there's those buzzwords, and I feel like hydration is like just that kind of buzzword. You're just like, okay, I gotta stay hydrated, but when you realize just how integral water is in our bodies, and so there are 4 basic functions of water in the body, and the first one is that water is actually the ultimate solvent. So think about a pile of salt, and think about a glob of fat. Right? We have to have that dispersed throughout our body, and that's the way that water does. That's what water can do. And this one I actually really loved. So I feel like right now in public we're not allowed to sneeze or cough or anything like that. But sneezing actually gets rid of a lot of important things.
It does. That's the reason why, because the toxins get in.
Exactly.
And you sneeze them out. Your body doesn't want to keep it. Yeah. It's a good thing. Yeah.
And mucus is 90% water. And if you don't have mucus, which I know sounds like a yucky word, but if you don't have it, you can't breathe, you cannot digest, and you cannot eliminate. And so you do not want, especially in this climate right now, we do not want dry mucous membranes. That would be a very bad thing. So you're susceptible. So, I mean, I don't want to go the fear category, but if you're susceptible to disease, it's because you're dehydrated.
Yeah, and that, I think you hit on something so big right now in this climate, how important it is to stay hydrated. Because, I mean, those whose immune systems are up are ones that are not getting sick, or if they do get sick, if they do get COVID, they at least have a better opportunity to get rid of it quicker and have a least amount of backlash from it or problems during it. And that, again, goes back to the prevention thing. That's the stuff you do ahead of time. And, of course, the way we eat is very important. But food has water in it. I mean, food has percentages of water in it. But it's not the direct source. It's not the direct hit. And like I said in the introduction, dehydration is the number one catalyst to all diseases. So when we talk about disease, we talk about autoimmune diseases, we talk about cancers, we talk about heart conditions, we talk about any kind of arthritic, or which is also an autoimmune disease. Dehydration is kind of like a petri. You become the petri dish to attracting diseases. So that's why it's so important to stay hydrated. So important.
Just even going back to what you said, water, when you're talking about arthritis, water actually lubricates our joints. So my husband, who's, always very scientific and critical about things, we've been on this water for a while, and he's just like, he was a climber and had chronic shoulder issues. And he's just like, I don't know, my shoulders don't bother me anymore. And I haven't had a chance to work on him because we're a little busy right now. But,
that's good.
So he can actually say that because he is so hydrated, that it actually has helped his joints. So,
which is great. And I have severe tendonitis in my knees from being an athlete for so many years, from age 30 all the way up until recently. And I can't run anymore. I can barely go up and down stairs. It hurts to hike. I mean, I'm really limited. And I think a lot of people over 50 can say the same. And had I been preventative, I think, more so, and known what I know now back then when I first started out, I wouldn't have been so brutal, and I would have been more aware of staying hydrated during those times.
Yeah.
And it's never too late, right?
No.
It's never.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and basically kind of what you're saying too. I'm not really letting you say that much. Do you want to pipe in?
No. You go, girl.
Okay.
But
Spotlight on you.
not really. Please don't. But with what you're saying, talking about dehydration, like the dangers of that. Just even thinking about
dehydrated, just
yeah.
Okay, let's get
Let's keep drinking.
Keep on drinking water. But the concept of our brain and dehydration. This
I
stuff
was
is
going to ask you about that,
Yeah.
talking about brain and dehydration, because it's really, that was
This
the
is
other
crazy.
kind of diseases those cognitive type diseases that dementia and Alzheimer's and things like that. Probably the starting point of that was dehydration, is my guess.
Absolutely, because our brain cells need 2 times more energy than all other cells in our body, and the brain cannot store water. So throughout the day, if you become if all your water's lost in the day, you're at a deficit, and so your brain takes 10% of the whole body's energy, and it's and since water supplies energy, nerve transmission consumes 1/2 of the brain's energy. It's so basically now going into some percentages, even if even if you are 1% dehydrated, there's a 5% decrease in cognitive function. So basically,
And that's accumulative, right? So if we're dehydrated day after day after day,
Yes.
those percentages obviously are going to go
are
up,
going to go up. Exactly. Yes.
which then makes us, again, vulnerable to the diseases that cause our brain to not function properly.
Yeah.
Well, and I think an important statistic for everyone to know is that the recommendation of water to drink a day is half your body weight in ounces per day.
Yes.
So
I say
that's-
that to my students all the time, and I talk about it here on my show.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're getting 2 32-ounce, pints or whatever this is, glass containers, liters, thank you, of water in your body, just benchmark yourself. 2 of these a day, if not more.
Yeah.
So
So, I mean, there is, I'm not going to call it an argument, but there is a discussion to be had about how some people can't tolerate that much. I mean, they almost feel like they're drowning. So what?
There's a reason for that.
Okay.
talk about that, Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just totally segue. Well,
Yeah.
first of
No.
all,
That just we'll keep coming. We'll make sure we get everything in. Yeah.
Totally. No, I know.
Well, we want to do the demo too.
Oh yeah, we have
Yeah.
a lot of time.
Well, but so what Kim was also saying is that, yes, it is half your body weight in ounces. So here's a little example. If you weighed 128 pounds, then you would drink half a gallon a day.
Okay.
And that's not that difficult. I mean, well, it's not that difficult for some water. So kind of circling back, like I said, when I had this really nice filtration system, I couldn't stomach the water. But now I actually drink probably around 100 ounces a day. I drink a ton of water.
Wow.
I drink
So,
probably
and
4 of
here's
these.
the other, I'm going to be devil's advocate here. Here's the other one, because I talk about this with my students and my clients and friends and family. I don't want to pee all day. How do you answer that? How do you that's the best thing you do, because you're getting the
Wow.
toxins out. I'm telling you, there is a whole clientele out there. There is a whole group of people that they have told me specifically, I don't like to drink a lot of water because it makes me have to go to the bathroom a lot, which is
next level.
opposite of what, because
That's not
the
self-care.
The idea is to keep cleansed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like water on our skin, right? And, and we're going to talk about the benefits of water, and especially live water. But, I always tell my clients, too, that staying hydrated, like they're always looking for the best products to put on their skin and the best thing to do. Well, the number one thing they should be doing is drinking water.
It's the first step towards wellness.
Yeah.
Really, if you're not living a healthy lifestyle, the first thing you can do is drink water. That's it. Like, just do that for a while.
Yeah.
Master that.
And people ask me about my hair and my nails because they grow so fast.
Yeah.
And here I am, going to be 63, and they want, and I'm like, water.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Water. It's so important to so many things. It's so. What do you say to the person who says, I don't want to pee all the time?
So I'd say let's think about ourselves. So here's a little picture of ourselves. And as we know, we live and die by our cells, right, in our body. So with your heartbeat, your cell opens and then it compresses. So it has a little heartbeat, it opens and compresses. And what does it do? When it opens, it brings in nutrients. And what does it do when it compresses? It pulls out toxins. So if we don't have that solvent to run through and bring in the nutrients and pull out the toxins, we're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Like that's
then
and so,
then we become a toxic sort of
yeah. Then it all just sits in
vessel.
there.
That's what we are.
Not a pretty picture.
Yeah.
So the other important thing
Just
about
how
that, what
disease.
I think is really interesting too. So, when you're drinking regular water, so let's just kind of go into our regular water source. So our regular water source is bulky and large, so that there's big clusters of these water molecules. So think about a big cluster of grapes trying to fit into a champagne glass, right? It doesn't fit into that glass. You have to pick it off grape by grape to drop into the glass. So think of that as our water. Our water is trying to get into our systems. So this is where we talked about not all water being created
Yeah,
equal.
not the same.
And we are going to do a little example of this.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
thing is that when we want to have this nutrient transport into our cells and the detoxification and the toxins pulled out, we have this little channel in our cells. We have a little water slide in our cells. It's called an aquaporin.
You read my mind. I was like, when is she going to talk about the Aquaporin?
And see, I and my audience don't know anything about this. This is so intriguing.
Yeah.
So what is this little slide?
I know, it's this little slide.
Yeah.
So this little slide it's the water port. So it's our little plumbing system. So the thing about this is that it's not that big. So I say think about a water slide. If you can just kind of shoot down the water slide, that's great. But if you put a big old inner tube on, you can't fit down the water slide. So the inner tube is our regular water source. It's a big structure. That's the thing that's so unique about this water, electrolyzed reduced water. It's small, it's reduced. So this little port, this little water slide can only fit 6 molecules per cluster into it. And our regular water system has 15 to 25. So when you're talking about so the thing is that this water absorbs. It doesn't just pass through you and flush out. So if somebody was not wanting to have to go to the bathroom this much, then they should try this water because it actually stays in your system.
So you have
rather
the
than
solution.
This is the
I
solution.
love it. So that's good because the first thing people think about, the more you drink, the more you go. That's it. And then and in this climate, I have to find a bathroom I'm comfortable going into, and so people are really drinking less to keep from doing it, but you have the answer. Wow, that's
You have to have water
interesting.
that actually absorbs.
Let's talk about pronounce it Kangen water.
It's Konkin Water.
Kangen. Yeah. Kangen water. Let's talk about what live water is, why it's so different, what it does for every we know what now it can do for our cells, but why this water and not any other? And then we're going to show why. We're going to actually have example of why. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, of course, and this is the water that we have found that works really great for us. So I'm not saying that, every water is awful, but this I think is a superior product because it's because of all these factors. So I kind of like to start with acidity first. Because
Can we talk about the company too? Because they're a Japanese company. They're a medical grade water. They've been around 40 plus years.
yeah,
They're
which I
used-
was really surprised to hear.
they're
I thought,
used-
something new, a new gimmick. No.
They're used
tried
as a
and true.
medical water in hospitals in Japan. It's really healing water.
Yeah.
That's the way you have to look at it. It's a medicinal grade water.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's doing all the right things that
Yeah.
our body is craving for.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So how does it work?
So I kind of
Sorry.
go, no, that was perfect. That's
Yeah,
great.
that's where you're here for. Because you guys are endorsing something that's so vital.
We believe in it big time.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely shows.
But, just the concept of acidity. So, you can link every known disease back to oxidation and back to acidity, and especially diabetes. Diabetes is the #1 acidic disease. And really scary is that most of the waters that we drink are highly acidic. And that, again, 72% of that puzzle, you don't want to be putting something that's acidic. And why do we not want to have something that's acidic? Is because it causes disease. And so
Causes your stomach to hold on to toxins that you get from the food you eat. So if you become acidic, you also become sort of toxic, really.
and that's where the fat hides.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, one thing I have is high blood sugar, right? I'm like teetering on, dangerously close.
Interesting,
yeah, I
because
know,
I know
right?
the way you eat.
I know.
So that's part of
It's
your
a genetic
constitution.
expression
Yeah,
of my
constitution.
It's
genetics.
an expression of my genes, right? And my dad had diabetes. My dad had a whole slew of things, which
Yeah.
my parents are my main driver for really wanting to stay as healthy as I do.
Me too. I grew
Yeah.
up in. I call myself a processed kid. I grew up in an unhealthy thing, so I just went the opposite way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. So, I'm very mindful of it. And Jordan was telling me that diabetes is a disease of acidity. So another reason why I drink this water, she talks about how we're not alkaline by nature. We have to put alkalinity in our body. So that's why we have to eat a diet of greens, things that are alkaline. And this water is 9.5%, added. That's the highest pH that it'll produce out of the machine.
And none of those, because let's talk about the waters that are out there that we think are healthy and good for us. Like asking the audience, what water are you drinking right now? What's your water source? Where are you coming from? And what do you think makes your water so special? Not to mention that we're not all... I work out of glass, and we've got a problem with our environment and plastic. Not to mention, how that plastic seeps into our water source anyway. But that's a whole other issue with water in a bottle that comes in a plastic bottle. But yes, so there is a whole.
Yeah, and not wanting to leave your plastic bottles in a hot car because the plastics will leach into your water.
That's right.
That's,
And you get the, I forget the chemical that comes off of it.
BPA.
Yeah, the BPA comes off into the water, which, you might as well just drink poison.
Yep.
Straight. It just doesn't make sense. So let's talk about acidity and what it is and what it isn't. And I've got my water over here too.
Did we take some?
If you want to take some, I use something
just
called, for
you
after.
know what, and giggles.
Okay, yeah, because I use a zero water filter, which I have been using for about 10 years, and I thought, since I heard about it, I was doing the best that I possibly could by using a glass container and getting all the toxins out of the water. But I don't think I may be right there.
The toxins out of
It'll
your
be interesting to
body.
see what
I know.
it comes out
And now
as.
I'm not going to.
Now,
Yeah. It's going to really depress.
Deb's gonna have
it's going to depress
you're going
me.
to have a machine soon.
Yes, I am. I'm getting. I just made a move, so this is a good time to get one.
We're excited for Deb.
All right, so let's show our audience what we're
Okay.
dealing with. So, Kurt, I think we
I'm your
need to
Vanna
zoom
White. Let me
out a
know what
little
you need from
bit.
me.
Yeah.
And we can undo these tops. So the
Okay.
thing about the main thing to know is that actually alkaline water is not that great for you.
There we go.
So what happens is that, and I don't have, here you can just pour it wherever. I guess we'll figure out where we're going to pour. The alkaline water is not that great for you because what alkaline water in a grocery store does is that they have to put ingredients back into the water.
You can focus.
So a grocery store or a water manufacturer, when you mean
So just like, I didn't bring Essentia or let's see, there's actually smart water, like a high pH smart water. So they have a lot of ingredients in the water that makes them alkaline. You can add calcium, magnesium, potassium.
these are manufacturers of these types of water, is what you're talking. You were talking about the grocery store.
Sorry. Okay. So
Yeah.
we'll back up. So
Yeah.
in the grocery store, we have
We'll
a lot
talk
of
about Essentia.
right. So so we have a lot of alkaline waters that we see in the shelves of the grocery store.
Oh, okay.
And
Gotcha.
those are, and so they're very popular, and they've become very popular actually because of
Advertising.
advertising. And about 15 years ago is when this product, Konkin Water, hit the United States. So it's a 46-year-old company, but it came here 15 years ago. And people started to say like, oh, people are really into alkaline water. This is really cool. Let's bottle
Let's
it.
make it. Yeah.
Let's bottle this
Gotcha.
stuff. But you can't put it on a shelf. You can't put this on a shelf. This has to come fresh, just like it comes fresh from nature. So I always say it's like having nature in your kitchen.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's a good one.
yeah, that's what we want. And one of the main ingredients, as Kim was saying, in Essentia is sodium bicarbonate. Do you guys know what that is?
Sure do.
Well, I know what sodium is, and bicarbonate is the effervescent part.
Baking soda.
Yeah, baking soda.
It's Essentia is the most expensive. Well, probably not the most, but one of the most expensive. Way more than a gallon of gas, and it is, and it's made. One of the first ingredients is baking soda.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why it's good to read labels.
Yeah. See, but I was told that because coffee is so acidic, that you should put a teaspoon of baking soda.
Oh, to alkaline it.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's think about that in the long term. How about you just flush your
Well,
system
now
with
you
a
just
lot of water?
yeah. Now you just kind of threw that out,
and
for
that
me.
wouldn't taste very good. I don't
Okay.
know.
No. Yeah. Well, just a pinch.
Just a little
like
pinch,
pinch
yeah.
to
I see what you're saying.
alkalize it. Anyway.
Or you could
so-
make your coffee with Konkin water.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that would be the ultimate. Yes.
Delicious. Yes.
That's what I
So-
do.
So let's show the audience what you got going here.
Okay, so we just brought in some basic waters. So Dasani is made by Coca-Cola, and they make more money on Dasani than they do on Coke. And it's widely available. Most people, they sell it at or they have it at McDonald's, and it's basically reverse osmosis water. So it's extremely acidic. And I guess I should just go through. I don't know if we have a little pH chart, but
He
Okay,
projected
we show
it,
the
but he can
pH
put it
chart.
up again.
So 7 is neutral. Anything lower than 7 is acidic. Anything higher than 7 is alkaline. So we kind of want to think about. So again, a lot of people drink, and this Dasani kind of represents a lot of bottled water, right?
Yeah.
The and-
Your average kind of run-of-the-mill bottled
exactly,
water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so that is kind of scary.
Yep.
Right? Would you want to drink that?
Right.
No. Again, these are pH drops. You'd use these in like a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Just to test pH.
Just test.
Now this smart water. Okay, guys, is this a smart
Jen
alternative?
Aniston's water, Miss Health and Wellness.
Let's see. Wow. So that's that's a tiny bit green, but pretty darn
So what is
close.
it we're looking for it to be or not to be?
So-
what do we want the water? Oh, here we go.
Yes.
So-
That's great. Yeah.
Okay.
So the more acidic is going to be the more yellow, and the more alkaline is going to be the more blues and
Gotcha.
purples.
Gotcha.
So even though this is green, it's lower on the scale because green is closest to
blue.
yellow.
To
Yeah, so that's
Yellow,
gonna it's
right?
more yes, it's closer to yellow, so it's still acidic.
okay.
It's still
right. No.
more of an acidic water. Then sparkling water. I don't know about you guys, but I
always
used
get
to-
bloated from sparkling water. Always makes me feel like I've drank.
It's just sitting in your.
Yeah, like it can't assimilate. It
So
can't
you're gonna
run
see
through.
why. Super acidic, which is kind of
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And it's such, again, advertising. It's making us believe that, here, some people somehow are thinking they're getting a healthy soft drink and they're really getting unhealthy water.
Yeah, you're getting kind of that satisfaction of the bubbles, which I understand. And
Mm-hmm.
this, when I was pregnant and I did not have this water, this is all I could drink. And I was so dehydrated and so acidic. Hindsight. But in any event, we used to have stacks of sparkling water in our house. And that's when I knew that I was so hydrated when I didn't have to turn to something like this.
Yeah.
Because, think about your body wants to stay in balance.
Yeah.
So
I find sparkling water so dehydrating. It never quenches my thirst,
Okay.
ever.
Well,
So
most
that must be
people-
good.
yeah, that is good.
That's,
And then we have
I'm doing something right.
our Kangen water, and that is a beautiful
Blue.
purple.
Ooh, I want to see what my water does. We have to see. Do you have one more glass?
Ew. Am
Okay.
I allowed to get up?
Yeah. And I'm the only one with headsets on that's hooked up here. All right, I'm really curious. Now I'm going to be upset.
Sorry, Deb.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
So this is a 0 water filter water that we're testing for the
Oh no, that's really acidic.
Just go blue.
I know. Wow, I was actually not expecting that.
Yeah, me neither. From a 0
So,
filter,
yeah.
that's pretty
'Cause
bad.
This is just about under neutral, but this
Yeah.
is Oh man, I was hoping for a little bit more, but
Yeah,
well,
me
now
too.
you know.
Now I know how important it is. So we can see it. We have a visual. And when you say live water, we're talking about lye because it gets into the cells, it keeps them healthy. Talk about telomeres and what telomeres are and how important it is for our cells to keep their tails on them. You want to?
Yeah, so telomeres are just a measurement of how your DNA, there's apparently a piece of your DNA that measures at what rate you're aging at. I've had my telomeres done, and I was quite surprised that mine wasn't higher. And then I've also done my, I did an inside tracker with 48 different biomarkers. And again, that's another tool, 43 different biomarkers where they say they can predict your cellular aging rate. So it's a similar concept, and it just has to do with the strand of your DNA and how long or how short it is. So it's that's really all I know about it.
Yeah. And the shorter, I mean, the idea is
you
that
want
your
them to be
telomeres are long is longevity, really,
That's
is
right.
how I look at it. And
That's
as
right.
the telomeres shrink, so many things shrink as we age, as
Yeah.
we know. Our muscle tone, as you know, Jordan, it's harder to keep our muscles strong as we age because our systems slow down. So our heart rate slows down, our system, everything slows down as we age. So anything that we can do for our bodies to keep things sort of more on the up and up, if you will, gravity takes our skin, and there's so much that we're fighting against. I don't want to say that's fight, that we're up against. It just keeping strong telomeres that we can't see is important to the things we can see. And the way we actually can see, the way we can hear, the way we, like you said, keeping our brains alive and stuff. Our telomeres have so much to do with that.
Yeah, and this Harvard scientist who I just recently learned about, his name is Dr. Sinclair. He's invested in this online portal where they measure your 43 biomarkers, and they're apparently studying aging in rats and 3 different ways that you could potentially turn back the clock and reverse age. It's coming. So that's why I wanted to get my data uploaded into this portal, because as they learn and as they identify, like resveratrol is something that they test, NAD is something that they test. There are ways that they're going to be teaching people, and for people who believe in this kind of stuff, it's one of my biohacks.
Yeah.
Right?
It's an anti-aging process.
I just want all the tools that are available out there. If the
Yeah.
technology's there, use it, don't abuse it, kind
Right.
of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's my mentality.
To your advantage.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah. But they do say that the portal is only for people who can handle it, because my cellular age, shockingly, was 66.6.
Yeah, I remember you showed
Yeah.
me that, and that just doesn't
It doesn't add up.
gel
I
with
know.
me. Yeah,
I know.
So,
But high blood sugar can be devastating.
That's
so I
right.
need to get it under control. And then I had a
and
couple.
you're working on that.
Yeah, and I had it, but I'd rather know. I'm the kind of person who would much rather know what I'm up against and deal with it versus bury my head in the sand.
Yeah.
So
Good.
and I had some white blood cells that were down, and and those are the inflammation fighters.
Yeah, exactly. Because
So-
inflammation is our catalyst for disease, as we all know, and that can come from dehydration and not having cellular replenished. Keeping them strong. There's a whole concept about micro clustering.
Yes.
What is that?
We can go into
We
that.
have 2 minutes.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, going back to just really quickly on
Yeah.
so the thing about this water is it is the ultimate anti-aging.
Okay.
It has been known, so it is proven. It's a PubMed study that it will
doesn't want
shorten.
that?
I know.
Who doesn't?
Right. So growing young. So it's a PubMed study to reduce the telomeres in cancer cells. Like that's a huge
So important.
point.
Yeah.
And I was going to do a little test.
It's going to
for
be a
that.
chapter in my book because I'm writing a book titled Age Young.
Oh, cool.
So this
Very
is all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then microclustering too. I'll hit that really quickly. I was going to do a little t-test, but
We didn't even talk about the fact that the water's an antioxidant.
well, that's
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
thing. is that
Okay,
it is
so-
the most abundant form of antioxidants that you can consume.
yeah.
And even going back to that, so the thing is that the number one oxidative disease is cancer. Mm-hmm. And so we need something to combat oxidation, combat aging. Mm-hmm. And this is an antioxidant.
This water is tried and true. It's scientifically proven to do that, correct?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And it's endorsed by
tons of doctors, nutritionists, scientists.
All over the world. Yeah, big time. And they're using it not only for themselves, but for their clientele, for their patients, for, it's miraculous, really, if people knew. So tell us, how does it work? How does the filter work, and where can people get the filter? And
so it's not a filter. It's actually it's a machine. It has a filter in it.
Okay.
But so it transforms the water. Yes.
It's a machine.
Yes, it's a machine. And so, Kim and I are distributors, and you work with somebody who loves the product. And that's really, it's contacting somebody who is already a distributor with a company. It's a direct sales company, so they really believe in spreading the word through people who drink the water.
Mm-hmm. God, it just seems so logical and so unknown, Any other bullet points you want to run through really quick that people should know? And then we're going to wrap it up with final words of wisdom, okay? So I just want to make sure that you get everything in that you want people to know about this, and how people can contact you, even though your contact, I believe, is up on the screen. So, because, see, for me, my thing would be, why wouldn't you? Why, where we don't have control over a lot, especially right now, but the things that we do have control over are how we take care of ourselves and what we put into our bodies. And water being the number one thing, that is the most important ingredient to be putting into our body. So why wouldn't you want to do this now and become less susceptible to what's going on out there? I mean, that's just my opinion,
Common
but
sense, right?
The why of it.
Mm-hmm.
So anything you want to hit on, and then some final words?
Sure. I just think, the tagline of the company is change your water, change your life. And it's something that I never thought I could feel this good. Mm-hmm. Like, I really feel like a different person. My skin looks different. Mm-hmm. The way that
you glow.
Yeah, thank you.
So do you, Kim.
Good you, Deb.
And it's
well, obviously my water is not.
We'll change that.
Yeah.
And it's just super important. And so I just really, thank you for the opportunity to do this, because it is about education. It's just about learning and understanding, and it's great. It's great to be able to share this.
I've always had so much sort of mystery around water and water bottles. I mean, I knew about the plastic, but it was like, really, how do you tell the difference from one to the other and what's good? And I never drink water in restaurants because I just think they're turning the tap on, and it's all a mystery to me. And you've just kind of debunked a lot of that stuff. You put a lot of light into it. And Kim, what's some final thoughts?
Well, I think and this is something Jordan really harps on, for sustainability-minded people, we need to be mindful of not purchasing plastic containers. And, people, I see these loaded up in people's houses, and it's just, come on.
Yeah.
We need to get away from that.
I used to be guilty of that.
Yeah. So, every time I throw out, a bag of garbage now, I'm almost like,
where's it going?
Okay.
I know.
I'm like, I'm getting
I hear you.
I'm getting anxiety over it almost.
I just moved, and luckily I used recyclable boxes and recyclable paper, and I'm going to do put them back into the recycle. But it's giving me anxiety just from the materials that I moved with, and all the junk and all the garbage. And I hear you, and that's being a health advocate. That an
earth advocate.
You're right, because it's all full circle. There are a lot of points to that. So lastly, how can people get a hold of you, Jordan, and you, Kim, and they can get this beautiful system?
Absolutely. Yes, I think we have all of our information.
Tell them how to get a hold of you, because we're also a podcast where people don't see it on the screen.
I understand. Okay, got it. So I guess the easiest way would be an email, which is my last name, Osborn, Jordan, so osborn.jordan, JORDAN @gmail.com. So Osborn, OSBORAN k.jordan, Jordan, @gmail.com.
Perfect. And Kim?
Yeah, you can get a hold of me at ksanty@gmail.com.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wow. Very informative. Really good stuff. I hope you guys got an education today on dehydration and what it is that you need to be doing right now so you can ward off this horrible pandemic that we're going through. Keep yourself strong and healthy and get a hold of one of these ladies and make a difference in your life and for those you love. And I want to thank you for joining me. I'm here the second and fourth Tuesday of every month, and I want you to keep going out and having those conversations that connect to a healthier you. Thank you, everybody. See you in 2 weeks. Bye now. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Deb.